It's kind of wild going straight from Titanic to this. Like, it feels like so much time has passed in the world in between.
So like, okay, so I like casually assumed that this movie came out in like 2015,
Yeah.
like based on the quality of the CGI, because
Hmm.
it basically looks real. Like it's there's no
Yeah.
like none of the rubbery CGI-ness is there.
Hmm.
And this movie came out in like 2009. Like
Yeah.
it looks fantastic. Like
Yeah.
visually, this is I remember like back in 2009, I think I was like 18 or something, watching this movie and being like, "Holy shit, this is the best looking movie I've ever seen." And
Yeah.
then like in 16 years of CGI development, like I go back and like this still looks fantastic.
Yeah. And I also think like the 3D kind of in the theaters kind of took away from just the pure brilliance of the rest of it, the of visually, you know? Because like watching it just on the TV, I'm
Yeah,
like
well,
I'm still fully immersed in this place.
yeah, like I would say that the flora and the fauna get kind of like pushed to the forefront a little more when it's 2D, but
Yeah.
like the floating mountains connected by vines, like
Yeah.
that was pretty sweet in 3D.
Yeah. And like people like giant ships moving in the background and stuff. Yeah, like
Yeah,
you could tell that
and it was all yeah, it was all very it was very tastefully done though. Like it wasn't like the mid 90s 3D where there's like oh the hands coming at you,
yeah,
There's none of
exactly.
that. Yeah.
Ironically, Piranha 3D.
Yeah.
I'm sure James Cameron was like, this is not nothing like I had envisioned Piranha 3 to be.
Yeah. I don't
The
think so.
the canon that I laid out for Piranha is
Yeah.
completely trashed. Alrighty, I'm gonna start.
Okay.
Welcome to the Mythic Movie Maker podcast, where we analyze movies from a mythological perspective. My name is John, and this is my brother Nick.
Hello.
What movie are we reviewing,
We are we
analyzing
are
today?
we are reviewing and analyzing Avatar, James Cameron's Avatar, not the Asian cartoon one.
Yeah, I have a question for you,
Yeah.
but if you'd rather do a quote, we could do a quote.
So okay, so I have the quote that Jimmy wants the movie to be about.
Okay, that's
You're
actually that might dovetail with my question actually. Let's
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear
Um,
this.
Sooner or later, you always have to wake up.
Hmm.
It's the opening line of the movie, and then he repeats it later on. I think before defeating the bad guys.
Yeah. And I also think that the what is it, the Colonel? What's the bad guy in it? Is he a Colonel?
Yeah, Colonel
Uh
Quaritch, I think.
yeah.
He's I'm just gonna call him the Colonel.
Yeah, I think that's how I viewed him during the entire movie
Hmm.
as just the
Uh,
Colonel.
and
The
that's actually my other quote.
yeah.
I'm sure you're gonna like this one. This is Papa Dragon. I want this mission high and tight.
Because of the dragon connection.
Yeah, we're like if there's any consistent meme across the show, it's the dragon connection.
It's the dragon and going into the underworld. He was another bad guy like the bad guy in the Titanic. It's just he has no he has no redeeming qualities
I
at
would I would
all.
say that I would say that he's no, no, no. I think the guy that you're thinking of is the corporate stooge guy, the Wayland Yutani guy.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Like
That's true.
he's rude on purpose and kind of dumb and not very competent and just mean when he doesn't need to be. I think the Colonel is a little bit more He's just like no nonsense. Like he's given a mission and will
Yeah.
complete the mission with ruthless efficiency. He doesn't have that like the casual cruelty that
Although
the
he does amp things up to like 11 like right away.
well he sees like the truth. Like he understands that the Na'vi are not going to give up. They're not going to
True.
leave their home, and they are warriors. And he kind of begins the story understanding that fact and knowing that his mission will almost always entail violence against the Na'vi. Like that's just
Yeah. Yeah, he's a realist.
yeah,
He knows how this story is going to end. It's either going to end with them leaving or with a Na'vi kind of all dead and then taking over. Like
yeah,
the scientist people are actually kind of delusional.
yeah. That's why they needed Jake to come in, someone who was a warrior with that like coming at it from that perspective.
Hmm. Yeah, and there was a lot with Jake where he was of both realms in almost every way. Like
Yeah,
he was in the military realm and the science realm, and he saw it from both sides. And then he
mm-hmm.
was in, obviously the human realm and the Na'vi realm. And when you see both sides of something, and when you're like part of both realms, and you're not one thing or the other, you kind of transcend
Yeah,
above it. Yeah.
like the visual and kind of action representation of that kind of sublimation is like at the very end of the movie where he's in the avatar body and he's riding the big red flying monster
Yeah.
and he's got his machine gun and his grenades and he's
Yeah.
just a much more effective combatant than anyone else in this huge battle.
Yeah. He looks like military Jesus or something
Yeah,
just coming in. And that was the other thing too, is like when you transcend realms, like nothing was impossible to him once he started like learning about them. Like he even transcended their impossibilities, because it was like not even it didn't seem like even possible for the Na'vi to control that big red dragon thing. And he was
yeah,
like, "Well, I'm used to doing unusual shit anyway. Why not?" And so he kind
yeah.
of like because he kind of became more Na'vi than the Na'vi because he had that power to
Well, kind of
transcend.
like I think his perspective as like as a human was like I think what allowed him to capture the big red flying guy, which where he says like he thinks he's the biggest predator around, so he never bothers looking up,
Yeah,
which I think could describe like the humans in the story.
that's a great point. That's so true. It's that hubris again.
Yeah, like it never occurs to them that the bow wielding cat people might actually fight back in an extremely effective way,
Hmm.
and that hubris really did them in.
Yeah, and it was sort of a kind of the Na'vi are kind of touchy-feely, and their view of the world kind of is enhanced by that, but it's also hampered by that as well, you know, because the big red devil dragon thing is kind of too hardcore for them and is just
Well,
like
it's
a
it's it's
ruthless
it's
killer.
sacred. It's a sacred creature, and to Jake, it was just another big monster.
You're exactly right. Yeah, what I was going to describe it as is like it was like viewing things from a mechanical view.
Mhm. So one thing that I did kind of want to front load
Okay.
is the discussion of like the planet's name.
Uh, dude, there is so much mythology in this. Like, there's a world tree. Yeah, and Pandora's box, obviously,
Yeah.
who our boy Prometheus had a part in. He gave the box to Pandora.
The first woman.
Oh, is Pandora the first woman?
Yeah, yeah. I
Oh, I
like
didn't know that.
I went back and did a little bit of extra reading on Pandora as a character, as a myth.
Oh, nice.
So like
Uh, yeah, tell me more.
yeah, so like as a feminine character, like the planet of Pandora itself is a character with thoughts and feelings that and it is female.
Yeah, yeah, and that's all very explicit.
Yeah, Awa, the the sort of mother goddess.
Yeah, and they say
Uh
her. Like
yeah.
oh, like one of the best scenes in the movie is when I love that they let Sigourney Weaver die.
Yeah,
And
and I'm super mad that they brought her back.
well, I think it makes sense.
It,
I
it makes
think
it makes sense in like in the lore of the story.
yeah.
And it makes sense in that Sigourney Weaver is, you know, like a national treasure, and you know, continuing to have her in the movie is kind of nice. But it would be nice if her death like was a little more meaningful, and it wasn't just instantly done in the next movie.
Well, not instantly. Wasn't it like 12 years or something?
Yeah,
So her death was
but
meaningful for 12 years at
but
least.
like
We have
but
that.
it's the whole thing is kind of marvelized where like
Yeah.
where the colonel also is just like, oh, we brought him back.
Yeah.
We saved a version of his mind and we put it in an avatar. Now we get to keep using him too. Like
Oh
I just
yeah, that's right. I forgot. I forgot a lot about the Way of Water
yeah.
actually. But you're right. They did do that. And that
But
was yeah.
that movie's not coming out for another 13 years, so we can talk about it then.
So she died, and do you remember what she says while she's dying?
I'm with her now or something like that.
Yeah, I
I can
see
see her,
her. She's real.
which is
That
actually
was so cool.
like the actual phrasing of that line is important because like the greeting among Navi is I see you,
Oh yeah,
which
yeah.
means like I see the real interior you.
Yeah, it's like there was like a little throwaway with the scientist, the nerdy scientist guy, where he's trying to teach Jake the language, and Jake says, "I see you," and he goes, "No. It's not just I see you, it's I see into you." You know,
Mm-hmm.
so that kind of just gives you more of an idea of the way the Navi think about things.
And like back to like Pandora, the Pandora
Yeah.
connection. Like in the story, like she opens the box and like all of the chaos and evil is released into the world. But remaining inside the box is like is just like the glimmer of hope.
Hmm.
Like hope is what's left in the box. And it's kind of like that, where like the planet itself is this like chaotic, dangerous, monstrous world where everything is trying to kill you and the plants are carnivorous or whatever.
Yeah.
um if you like actually pay attention and you look like the whole it's like you know it's actually this beautiful wonderful place.
This just goes to James Cameron's skill as a filmmaker, but I love how nothing was ever really nothing of Pandora was really ever good or bad. Like even at the end when the like those big scary beasts that tried to kill him at first, like
Yeah,
the saber-toothed tiger looking thing and the big hammerhead rhinoceroses, once they because everything is connected in Pandora, once they realized, oh, they kind of at some point understand like they need to be on the side against the military people, and
yeah.
they at the end they helped Jake, where at first they tried to kill him as an outsider. That has sort of a micro and a macro meaning, you know? It's like it is as if the planet is a person, you know? And that's what you would do if you meet somebody for the first time, like a stranger in your town, is like you would deal with them suspiciously, especially if they were like going places that that they kind of aren't supposed to be. And then, once you get to know them and become friends with them, then you fight off the true enemies of you and using their help. So that's one of the big themes of the movie too. And the thing about this movie is that it's so epic. It's like its themes are all epic, and there's a ton of themes in it. It's almost too
Yeah.
much to wrap your mind around. And I think that's why, like you were saying to me, like it didn't feel like that long of a movie, even though it was 160 minutes. Like you didn't even need to like check your phone or anything because there's
Yeah.
just so much happening. And one of those themes is like like dealing with the world consciousness and dealing with like an individual consciousness and sort of like I am part of the world and the world is part of me. But what else did you learn about Pandora, the myth?
That was all I really had written down. Like I said, it was like 5 or 10 minutes of Googling in Wikipedia.
Well, so the story, so she opens the box. And why is she given the box in the myth?
I think it was I think Prometheus was like made to make her as punishment to mankind, which is speaks a lot to what the Greeks thought of women. Zeus got super mad at Prometheus for stealing fire from the gods and giving it to man, and then he made Prometheus make a woman.
Oh, so Prometheus made the woman,
Yeah,
and then he
I
and
don't,
then he gave her the box.
yeah. I don't. Let me see. Zeus gave her the box as a wedding gift,
Oh, okay. So
probably knowing she was going to open it and unleash evil on mankind
yeah, yeah.
because Zeus is an asshole.
And then so like what part of the myth was relevant to call the planet?
Okay, so I guess this does depend on how much credit we're going to give to Jimmy.
Hmm.
This is like maybe Pandora just sounds cool.
Hmm.
Like that could literally be it. It could be that the unleashing of chaos, the opening of Pandora's box is Jake Sully arriving on the planet
Yeah.
because he does kind of like all hell breaks loose once he gets into the mix. Or maybe humanity is Pandora's box. Like everything was peaceful until humans showed up and fucked it all up.
That could be, or it could be the opposite. Instead of humans having the effect on the planet could have its effect on humanity. And like going forward in the series, because there's going to be like 5 movies, I
Mm-hmm.
guess. I wonder if it'll come back to Earth.
I mean, it can't. Like the Navi like making spaceships and going to Earth and invading seems so silly.
Or just maybe their spirituality aspects or something. Like they could take something from the Navi planet back to Earth. Unobtainium, there isn't that like the whole point is that they want to use unobtainium on Earth.
Or
Um
whale brain juice.
or whale brain juice. Yeah.
Like it's insane to me that they already had like the perfect carrot to keep the humans coming back to the planet, but in the second movie,
Yeah, but the
they just made up a
unobtainium
new
was
one.
under the tree, and we
They
needed the
could
second movie to be in the water.
they could just say that there was like a cache of it under the water somewhere. Okay, well, I'm gonna try not to talk about and mostly gripe about the way of water during this discussion.
Yeah, there will be plenty of time for that during that one. Yeah, you're right. But here's
Yeah,
okay, so this is actually an interesting thing that I picked up on this time. There were actually a couple of clues in this movie what Earth had become. We never see Earth, and they don't really ever talk about Earth. They
but
just
it says there's no green there.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. They make these little references.
But it was also strange because he was a Marine that was apparently dealing with extremely thick brush in a jungle in Venezuela.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah. Was that the last? Well, Venezuela, there's a couple things that come to mind. They have this huge store of oil. Like they're one of the biggest producers of oil now, today.
Hmm.
And so could humanity have been like scrapping over that last bit of oil that's left, and like we're so desperate for new energy that we go out across the universe? Or is it even just the last scrap of just green life on Earth, you know, that's
I'm going to be
there?
less charitable. And I feel like the less charitable interpretation is probably the correct one,
Go for
which
it.
is Jake Sully has to be a total badass who's used to jungle, who's accustomed to jungle fighting,
Oh, that is a good point. Yeah.
and that's a very expedient way of making him that character.
Yeah, because he
And then
was
and
able,
then and,
yeah.
and then like later on in this in or earlier on in the script writing process, they just forgot that there's still jungles in Venezuela.
What do you mean?
Like when he says there's no more green there. Like when his predominant experience as a Marine is someplace presumably very green.
Wait, so who says that? Jake Sully
He
does? There's
Jake
no
Sully
more green
does.
there?
Yeah,
Mm,
they killed their mother. There's no more green there.
mm, mm. And before encountering Pandora and the Navi, do you think Jake cared that there was no more green?
He seemed to be mostly concerned about his own plight with his legs. Like that seemed to be the most important thing to him.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Like he doesn't state his opinion on anything but that.
Yeah, and the Colonel is such a savvy guy too. He knew that. Like he knew exactly what carrot to use for Jake
Yeah,
because he is like, if you do this for me, I'll give you your legs back. And that does seem to be like all Jake really cared about.
but like, and that's not a knock against Jake. That's a like
No,
any
it's very
any
understandable. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Like any person would be very receptive to that offer.
Especially someone that's like in peak physical condition. Like he seemed like not just a Marine, but kind of like an elite Marine. I mean, no, I'm not. I wasn't trying to knock him. I was just saying like he learns throughout the movie to care about other things. In certain realms, maybe legs don't even matter, and your physical body actually matters a lot less. And the interesting thing is it.
I
Oh,
mean,
sorry. Go
yeah,
on.
but like, but it has the Beauty and the Beast problem where it's like, oh, your physical body doesn't matter. What really matters is who you are on the inside. But then
Hmm.
he gets to have like a sweet superhuman body at the end of it.
Yeah, that's always been my like the fatal flaw of that movie, which is my favorite Disney movie. But that is the like fatal flaw of the movie. And you know what movie actually corrects that?
Shrek,
Shrek. Exactly. Have I talked to you about that before?
you have.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah. So
This
I
is
always
why I brought it up.
oh yeah. Like Disney movies need to be very visual because kids don't understand a lot of like the meanings of words and stuff at a certain age. So that was where Beauty and the Beast ran into trouble. Is like we need to show the happy ending, and we can't do that with the big ugly beast still being a big ugly beast. We need to show
Yeah,
that he's
and
changed outwardly.
we absolutely cannot have our very marketable Disney princess that we're going to be selling figurines of also turn into a big monster beast.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what? That's why Shrek is so good. Shrek is as a whole movie. Here we go talk about Shrek now. But as a whole movie put it was sort of like a critique on Disney movies.
Well,
And
it literally like has it literally does a send up of Disneyland.
The
when they open up
Kingdom?
the no when they open up the little puppet show with like do like is
I
you don't
forget.
remember that
No, it's
like
been
that
a while.
it was like it's a small world after all kind of like it's kind of like
Oh
making fun of
yeah.
that.
Yeah, and it
And when Shrek like walks through like all of the velvet when there's like big empty Disney ride line with all like the velvet ropes, he just walks
Yeah,
through
you're
them.
right. You're right.
Yeah.
In terms of the movie, you were saying we were talking sort of about like the clue the scant clues we have, the paucity of information we have about Earth, and we're trying to cobble together some sort of an image of what that is.
Well, I think it's
Um,
like I think it's actually kind of intentional. This is like Independence Day from the perspective of the aliens.
oh, dude, it is.
Yeah, like it's like like all we know is that the aliens it ran out of resources at their home planet, and now they're here to steal our resources.
Yeah. And like James Cameron does that throughout his entire career. He always flips it. He's like, what if the robot, in Aliens and in Terminator, what if the robot that's a bad guy is a good guy? Let's deal with that, you know? And so it's like, yeah, what if the aliens from Independence Day are us? And it's also the way that came to it was there's always that like with the hive mind, the hive mind is always bad in movies, you
Oh yeah, here
know?
we have like the hive mind is the good guy.
Yeah. And it's like, you have to kill the queen zombie or whatever. Or in Independence Day, it was the mothership. You have to kill
Yeah.
the mothership, and that kills everything else. Same thing with this movie. The humans learned that lesson. You have to kill the mothership, but they're trying to protect it.
So like speaking of like the human colony, like at the beginning of the movie, I kind of like how the human colony is kind of like introduced. One is that they're like there's this giant strip mine with like in the distance like this
Yeah.
pollution factory just belching black smoke the whole time. It's like 5 seconds, but it really just like this is the first thing you see of what humans are doing on Pandora.
Yeah. We're basically taking all the worst parts of what we do to Earth over there.
Yeah, but like and also the huge scale of all the human machines is made very clear very
Hmm.
early on,
Yeah.
where like the ship like that they touch down on is this completely like absurdly enormous thing. And then like they fly past one of those like mining trucks, and it's like 100 feet tall and 200 feet long, and just absolutely gigantic.
Well, yeah, and like the military like endless distances of just military equipment,
Yeah,
lines of military equipment.
very like Star Wars, like Empire kind of vibe to all of it.
Hmm.
Of how how gigantic the vehicles are and how just despite how like scared the humans are and how dangerous Pandora's made out to be, like the humans are kind of shown to be this kind of imperial, like unbeatable power.
You can see a military guy being like, hell yeah, oorah about that. And Jake was that kind of at first.
Yeah,
And then there's sort of a weird mental shift that happens. That's obvious to the audience that that's going to happen. Like it wasn't a surprise to me at all, even the first time watching it.
yeah. I think like and that's why I feel like the CEO or director or like the company man meeting him immediately informs you of what the movie's going to be about.
The guy that says like, well, if you don't push the machine forward, they're not going to know that they should get out of the way.
Oh god, I have that exact quote here somewhere.
And I like how like there's a shot of him like just sort of pushing the joystick for the
Yeah.
for the concerned
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Like
guy.
these people have to learn that we don't stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought it was weird that he called them people too,
Yeah.
but I don't know
Well,
if that has to do anything.
he calls them like, you know, natives and tribals and stuff like
Yeah.
that, locals.
That all was very obvious that it was
Yeah.
it almost isn't even worth talking about. It's so obvious
Well,
that's all.
it's so obvious that like some organization uh for like
Like
for
denounced
like
it.
for like native people like complained that that the Na'vi weren't voiced by Native American voice actors.
That is funny. That is funny that's because it was so clearly meant to be them that they felt aggrieved. Yeah.
Yeah, but the funny thing is they all have like African accents and they're all voiced by like African people. Like it's
Well that's the thing though is it wasn't it uses contextually a lot of like Native American sort of lore, but it is just generally about colonization.
yeah, yeah, like there's a lot of like Ernest Hemingway Green Hills of Africa kind of vibes to it
In
of
what
like
way?
showing like showing up to this like beautiful wild place with crazy animals and
Hmm.
with your guns and being like, you know, I'm gonna find the biggest one, I'm gonna shoot it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and it's also like, why wouldn't that extend out to space too? Like, why would we act any differently on like a space planet, you know? And
Well,
like, it's kind of fun. Oh, go on.
oh yeah, well like Americans like had to reevaluate who they are and what it means to be American after the frontier got closed.
Oh, totally. Yeah, that is a really good point.
So
Yeah.
it's so like all of that mentality, like if you want to be a, you know, a frontiersman and an adventurer, like, oh, maybe Pandora's the place to go.
Oh, true. Yeah. I mean, that is a personality type. When you have, it's like our Winston Churchill thing. Winston Churchill without a war is kind of a dangerous person, and a frontiers person without a frontier kind of, becomes dangerous.
Yeah, like those people who would just bring their guns onto like the trains that were going west and they would just lean out the window of the train and shoot buffalo until they ran out of ammo.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, in the American context, in this movie, there was like a horse, like the whole thing was like about taming horses. Like there was even like an alien horse, and then like the whole taming the dragon things is just exactly like taming a horse. You know, it's like you have to it's kind of a violent process, but it also requires compassion, and so that's kind of like the heroic cowboy is that, in every like cowboy movie, it's like there are these violent people that have this, dark
Yeah,
energy, but they
like yeah,
also are controlled with their like they're
yeah, so like very like the very classic like you don't tame a horse, you break it,
yeah,
you know.
exactly. Yeah.
But then like the
It's a violent
cowboys
process.
but like the cowboy later on in the movie is always shown like brushing the horse and petting it and feeding it apples and stuff, and then treating it as a companion.
Well, okay, so a couple things about the colonization stuff. You were said like we America had to kind of rediscover who it is after there was no frontier.
Hmm.
Like describe a little bit what America was while there was a frontier, and then in your view, because we're not
I think
historians, and then secondly, what did America become in your view, and you know
so. I think like once again, like this is we're not historians. This is very vibe based.
yeah.
I don't. It doesn't feel frontiersy. It feels very corporate, very like like earlier I called them Wayland Utani, and it's that basically.
Yeah. Well, it's at the end of the day. it's all about business. There's science, there's scientists there doing sciencey things. There's military there obviously to protect everything. But at the end of the day, there would be no mission if there was no
No,
unobtainium.
yeah,
Or at least it would be a much smaller operation, right?
yeah, like the unobtainium is the reason why they're there.
Like in America, the first thing that they discovered, I think, was like tobacco. That was like the first big cash crop and stuff. And there were so many like beavers and stuff, and they would like sell the pelts and things like that. So it was also kind of
Yeah, I think I'm like early on America was like logging, trapping, fishing,
mhm.
just extracting resources directly from the earth.
And there were those crazy people that were like, well, what's over there? In America, that became sort of like part of our national character that persisted was just the fact if you get tired of living where you are, just move somewhere else. There's plenty of space. Like if you hate your neighbor, screw him. I'm moving away.
I'm going to
Oh,
Oregon.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, but everyone goes to Pandora for their own interests, essentially.
Yeah, yeah, like it's like you get a sense that like although I don't know, a lot of the military guys, like especially that bald guy that they keep showing over and over again, just seem like thugs that just want to feel powerful.
That's a good theme in the movie is, we were talking about the colonel, and he sort of is like single-minded focused on everything, and he kind of just knows a little bit too well what the game is, and he's just ruthless in accomplishing it. And military people are trained not to they're trained to follow instructions. They're not
Yeah.
trained to think about every time they squeeze the trigger, is this the right thing to do? In the way that the Na'vi sort of live with nature, and they become imbued with nature and connected to nature, are not the military people like surrounded by robots all the time and machinery? And they sort of, in the same way that the Na'vi connect to nature in like a spiritual way, don't the wouldn't you say that the military humans sort of like become machines and become robots?
Well, yeah, like they need their apparatus to breathe. They need their big
Yeah, great point.
their
Yeah.
big mechs in order to like be like have like like any kind of competition with the local wildlife.
Yeah, yeah, because like head to head, they're way weaker than the Na'vi.
Yeah, they did nothing to like earn the right to fly. Like
Yeah.
they just show up with their helicopters and fly around and
Well,
cause problems.
we are hugely accomplished technicians.
Well, yeah,
Um,
as a species, like we built the stuff.
but that's not like a
They
deeply
did
spiritual process in the way that like flying a dragon is.
yeah, like where they have to tackle it and like defeat it in a battle of wills.
Yeah. That's not
Uh,
that's not on the test.
yeah. Although okay, so but because earlier when you were talking about like the military and what it means to be a soldier,
Yeah.
actually really dovetails with a series of notes I have
Yeah, yeah.
called Jake Sully is a bad soldier.
Yeah, he is.
He's impulsive and undisciplined. Like when he's supposed to be like defending the scientists, like a real like a good soldier would be like defending the scientist and like keeping them in line of sight and like watching out for them. And all he does is he wanders off and starts slapping random plants.
Yeah.
Like he's like he has a habit of just wandering off.
Do you think that's
He's
an intentional do you think that's intentionally put in there by James Cameron to be like, this guy is not just your ordinary soldier? Or do you think he just was like, I want him to do you think
let me
that's
just can you hear me? Can you fine?
yeah,
Okay, cool. So that like once again we have like the charitable and the uncharitable aspect.
yeah.
the charitable way of viewing it is that he's already kind of a Navi. Like he's curious and interested and wants to know about the world and wants to like learn about the world by feeling it and like touching it and like understanding it. Like he has this curiosity to him. The uncharitable way of viewing that scene is that Jake needs to get separated from the scientist, so you just have him
Yeah.
behave like an idiot for a little bit in order to get that
Well,
done.
because I do think that it starts the movie not as a military, not very militaristic. Like the first line in the whole movie is, "I have dreams of flying," you know? So he's already at the beginning of the
He's a,
movie
he's a
primed.
dreamer.
He's a bit of
Yeah.
a dreamer, yeah. And, I wonder if he got that way from being disabled or if he was like disillusioned by the military or something.
Or maybe like I don't know, becoming learning the jungle and becoming a less disciplined person helped him, back on Earth.
Yeah, because like when you're in the jungle, there is no rule book for how to navigate things. Like you kind of do have to fend for yourself. So like he followed those plants, and
Oh, like
then
as an avatar.
as an avatar, yeah. And
Okay.
then he sort of I forget what happened. He got lost basically. And then they're like, we can't keep looking for him. We're gonna have to come back tomorrow. And Sigourney Weaver's like,
No, he's dead.
yeah, he's not gonna make it until tomorrow. He sort of got mauled by all these like wild dog looking things. And he used tricks that worked on Earth to evade predators. Like he
Yeah,
lit the
he's
fiery
scared.
torch.
Yeah, and he didn't like panic when they started attacking him. He just pulled his knife out and started going for it. Like he wasn't good at it. Like he wasn't piloting the body as well as he does later in the movie. But
Yeah,
he's still, a fighter.
he just survived long enough to be saved by his girlfriend, his future girlfriend.
God, like they say her name so many times, but I just have her in as the girl.
Neytiri.
Natiri. Okay, yeah.
He could survive on his own way better than a robotic grunt would be able to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, does
Uh
that make him a good soldier or a bad soldier, though? It makes him uncontrollable, but it makes him also a lot more useful.
yeah, he's a lot more he's not as rigid.
Hmm.
Like because like the very first scene of him in the avatar body, he doesn't even
Yeah.
bother. He
It-
doesn't listen to any of the advice from the doctors and to the point where they start pulling out the sedatives to like get him under.
yeah, that is another good example of him not being a good soldier. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. Although then he runs outside and Sigourney Weaver just
Just like,
seems
howdy.
almost yeah, she seems almost proud of the fact that he like ignored all the rules and ran outside and started just breaks into a full sprint with his new avatar legs and starts she like throws a piece of fruit like here eat this you'll like it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um
exactly. Oh, and that's important too, because first off, like that's his kind of bite of the apple moment where he's kind of connected to Pandora. And like this is a gigantic theme in the movie. He can taste, he can actually taste it. You know what I mean?
yeah. Yeah, like yeah, when he's wandering around like slapping plants, he's just he wants to be a part of this world almost. He wants to
Yeah, but
uh
the world is sort of presented to us like kind of a video game. Like he doesn't treat it as real at first, you know?
yeah, okay, that actually okay, so I'm actually really annoyed at the movie for not making the stakes clear of what happens if he dies in the avatar body.
They, I agree. I 100% agree with you because that's the question that they bring up right away. And it's actually brought up in the Matrix too in a really unsatisfying way.
Look, okay, so
Um,
like that line I think is there in the Matrix. to make like it's a very utilitarian line. It's not very mythological. It's just like the audience needs to know what the stakes are.
And they're in the Matrix, they're much higher.
Yeah, and this like it's just like I think I think they just get booted out because at the
Yeah.
very end, like the other scientist gets shot by the soldier guys, and then he jumps out of his pod and starts like grabbing at his chest and breathing heavily.
That was the one real concrete clue that I got to about what happens. Yeah, when he does that. So,
Yeah,
I mean, and I think it's the same for like pulling somebody out prematurely. Like it's not good. Like it could cause like problems, but
yeah,
you'll survive. The stakes are a little higher too because they had to grow the Na'vi um
over years.
over years. So it's not like you can just easily get a new one. And I think they bring that
Yeah,
up in
so
the
like
second
after
movie. So
yeah, so after
if you destroy one of these bodies, it's like it's a significant like process to make a new one.
well, I think the in terms of like for the movie, like if his avatar body gets destroyed, then it's gone forever, and they send him back home.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the only reason why he's there is because they have the avatar body, but they don't have a compatible human.
Yeah. And that all I give them all that like the, you
That
know,
makes sense. Like the setup, I think is actually pretty good.
yeah, the set no the set it was kind of confusing, not very intuitive. They had to do a lot of explaining to that.
Well, yeah, like I don't think like I don't care about plot holes so much as like lack of clarity in a way that sort of muddles the stakes. So yeah, so I think the I don't exactly know what it means thematically, but the Na'vi are I think they're tigers because they're
Oh, okay.
like they're these like tropical jungle hunters. They have cat faces. They have
True.
like stripe. They have like these like blue and darker blue stripes. And interestingly enough, like you know how the Colonel has like the dragon decal on his really big gunship.
Uh-huh.
Michelle
Mm.
Rodriguez has a tiger decal on her gunship.
Interesting.
So it's kind of like they're kind of like tiger people in a certain way.
Well, did you ever read the Sparrow, the book The Sparrow?
Oh no.
It's a good book, and Brad Pitt actually tried turning it into a movie, and it obviously didn't work. It would have been a cool movie. But the if you look up the character designs on that, they're described as basically cat people. And so that's what I always associate with is like is the cat people in that book. But that's not here nor there. But it other than like what is the fascination with turning the aliens into cats? Like they're kind of cats are sort of interesting in that they're predatory, but they're also domesticated. So like they're like
They're also like only partially domesticated.
yeah, yeah, they're perfectly fine being strays, whereas like many dog breeds wouldn't survive at all. Most.
Yeah, and also just like humans and dogs is kind of like a master servant kind of relationship.
Hmm.
Meanwhile, the sort of the traditional job of a cat is as a mouser to just like be something that keeps the vermin population down.
Hmm.
And a cat doesn't need to be really all that domesticated for that to work out. Like the cat just needs to like view the barn as a warm place to sleep and kill the rats that are or mice that are guaranteed to be all over the place.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, because they and like they have these long tails too that aren't really
They're very emotive.
yeah, they're very emotive, exactly. Well, another cat connection too. Well, there's another, there's that tiger thing that's an actual tiger that is a mean one. and it's
Oh,
huge.
oh, the purple thing with the beak.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that attacks people. But another thing too is something that's never exactly explained, like what happened, but the colonel has a very scratch-like scar on his face that he said he got with a day one on Pandora. And it's like a tiger scratch. That sort of made me think like, okay, this guy it has skin in the game. He's got a piece of Pandora scarred on him for life. So his mission is do or die. He's never
yeah,
going to give up.
yeah. Because he does mention that he could get the scar like cosmetic surgery away,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
but chooses to keep it as a reminder of like how dangerous Pandora is, which kind of like goes to show like how he is going into this with both eyes open. Like he understands the planet in a way that the rest of the humans really don't.
Hmm.
Like he doesn't like he understands that this is a dangerous place that is hostile to human life and will kill us. Meanwhile, like Mr. Manager guy seems completely oblivious to like the sheer hostility of the planet.
Well, yeah. So the colonel his view of the planet is all that like single-minded focus. He doesn't for a second see it from the Navi's point of view.
Yeah,
It's all from the point of view of yeah, of like everything here wants to kill me and I must kill it first. And then the manager guy, his sort of view, he's too separated from everything, right? And so like once you're separated from what you're it was kind of like a drone operator in the
yeah.
military. Is like you also are separated morally from what you're doing. When you're not like hand to hand seeing it happen, it kind of seems like it's you kind of or even Ender's Game or whatever. It doesn't feel real enough to feel it like you're an accomplice to what's going on. And that was the vibe I got from that guy.
Yeah, like he's so used to like the corporate environment that he's it doesn't even register to him that these Navi are like real people.
Yeah, yeah. Everything becomes sort of distilled down into numbers at a certain point.
Yeah, like to him like the humanity of these alien beings means nothing to him. It's he's weighing the bad press of genociding them versus the desire for an expedient way of getting at this unobtainium.
But, you know, there's like the realpolitik like way of seeing it is you have to crack a few eggs to get anything done. There's no pretty way to do this. And so you might as well just do the bad things all at once at the very beginning and then apologize about it later.
Well, and it's also like the justification of like, oh, they're not using it. Like these
Yeah.
these these idiots, like these jerks, built their treehouse on top of a giant vein of this incredibly valuable stuff,
Hmm.
and they're not using the valuable stuff. They're just sitting on top of it. Like
Yeah, well,
this is such a waste.
yeah.
Like it's very easy to like imagine someone like going into it with that kind of like mentality.
Well, and did the unobtainium, that was the question I had actually. Did the unobtainium was it powering all the energy stuff that was going on with the Na'vi? Like was that like the light was that like at the heart of the life force of everything? Or was it unconnected to like them being able to speak through the trees and stuff?
I think like it seems like it can't be a coincidence that like this the giant unobtainium vein is right under the big tree,
Yeah, that's what it seemed like to me.
but they never connect the two.
No, they do not. They're just using it in a sustainable way.
Yeah, and a very like yeah, sustainable kind of shamanistic.
But yeah, and that's where like the magic, what all the magic is kind of explained through the unobtainium. But the people see it as like a one-to-one correlation of energy. Like they see it through just the view of energy, whereas
Mhm.
the Na'vi see it as magical. But it's actually they're talking about the same thing, you know?
Yeah, of like science and magic are actually the same thing, and
Yeah, and
it's and it's not a god. It's a giant. The whole planet's a giant brain.
yeah, and that I mean, and they're just two different words for the same thing, basically.
Yeah,
And
like a planet-sized brain would be pretty godlike.
yeah, that was also the vibe I got from the scientists too.
Like yeah, the what the hell have you guys been smoking kind of that scene
It described that, yeah.
where the CEO guy is kind of where Sigourney Weaver's explaining to him that the whole planet is this giant neurological system, where what happens on one side of the planet can be communicated through this giant brain system to, like communicate with the other side of the planet. It's all one. It's not just an ecosystem, but like a single living being.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
exactly. And they were kind of describing this mystical stuff. That's exactly what I was trying to say, yeah. They were
in
describing it in scientific terms, yeah.
yeah, I okay. So about like the okay, so the whole thing where like like all of the creatures of the planet and the plants and the Navi and everything, it like has this like compatible neurology where they can like interface with each other. Really wanted this isn't like a plot hole or anything or even like a problem with the story, but I really wanted to see a lot more like of that in action in a way that was other than the Navi just controlling animals. Like what like okay, so
Yeah.
these animals exist and the Navi exist.
Hmm.
Why do these animals have these like tails that can be connected to other than to be as mounts for the Navi? Like I would have loved to see like the animals using their like brain tendril things for something other than just being
Yeah,
mounted by Navi.
true.
Like
Well,
like maybe like a predator will like kill a prey animal and then like connect to it and steal its memories before eating it or something like that. I don't know. Like I want
yeah.
to see. I just like it. It just the whole thing feels like a narrative device instead of like an aspect of their biology.
I mean, the other thing is too, what would have been interesting is like nobody has to, it goes with like the noble savage sort of idea. What if like they didn't have to kill animals to eat or to be fed? What if they just what if they were just nourished by plugging in to the earth, and just the energy of the earth nourishes them.
But then they wouldn't be hunters.
Should we talk about like the whole idea of Avatar, it's both an internet term and a mythological term, you know.
Yeah,
Like Vishnu is the avatar when he's on Earth. It's you use an avatar when there is a sort of spirit dream realm and you exist as yourself, but a projection of yourself in that realm.
yeah.
And that's what an avatar is. There were so many connections I had to the internet with this, and like my thing now is like, I think the internet is just a real version of the spirit world. Like it's a tangible spirit world. And it does everything that a spirit world would do. It connects everybody together instantly. You
Mhm.
have you're not yourself, you're a projection of yourself. It
Well, yeah. Like if you took like a tribal person,
hmm
to modern era, and showed them a person at a computer and told
Yeah.
them, oh, he's communing with the spirit world. He can talk to people across the planet.
They would instantly understand.
Yeah,
Yeah. And what's interesting is, it's like with the scientists, like, you'll talk to a scientist about the spirit world and they won't understand at all. And then you'll show them the internet and they're like, yeah, this is but it's kind of the same thing. It's told in different terms. So it's kind of like the scientists explaining the unobtainium as and then the mystical people explaining the unobtainium, but it's the same thing.
The chamber that the humans get into to control the Avatar is replicatable by the Navi using their Earth Mother Awa thing.
What is that?
Like
What's
the because when they at the very end of the movie where and then early on in the movie with Sigourney Weaver, but at the very end where they
Oh
take
yeah.
the human Jake Sully and put him in the on the ground
Yeah,
and put him next to the Avatar, and they can it behaves. It's the same. It's doing the same process of like what of the human sort of connecting to and becoming the Avatar,
it's slightly different.
and
It's
that it's
actually,
permanent.
yes, it's slightly different in a very important way because, like, when they did that, they all had to be there for it to work. It had to be this giant, like, I have a feeling like this doesn't happen that much with them. Like, this is like a very extreme thing for them to do. And it's also like it probably won't work too. Like with Sigourney Weaver, it didn't work.
I think it was because she just died before the process was done. I think that's like that was their explanation of it. Like, oh, she's too weak.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
gone.
Yeah. So you do need to have like enough strength. But what's so interesting about this, what would be the internet equivalent to this process?
I think I can tell where you're going with this, which is like if you're going onto a message board to communicate with other people, you're going to make a name and create an avatar through which you're interacting with this environment.
Yeah, which is a projection of you. It's like a it's a you that exists solely for the purpose of navigating the internet world. What happens if that is so much better than you that you start to be like,
You,
do
you
I
stop
even?
you stop eating, you stop working out, you all
Well,
you can
yeah,
think about when
yeah,
you're all you can think about when you're in the real world is what you're going to do when you log back in.
yeah. And, I think we're going there. You know, like okay, so here's the thing about the internet world and the spirit world. They're infinite. You're experiencing you're experiencing a an unlimited world, you know. The physical world has so many limitations, the most basic of which are time and space, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the spirit world transcends time and space.
Well,
And
also like the physical limitations of your human body.
yeah, exactly. So you can actually be doing like 100 tasks at the same time on the internet. Whereas, if you have like, 100 windows open or whatever, or have a
Mm-hmm.
program doing it or something. Whereas, like, you're basically only limited to one, maybe two tasks at the same
Yeah.
time in the physical
So,
world.
this actually reminds me of a story from this blogger who was a programmer in the early like .com era. Feel free to cut this out if it's fully irrelevant. But this guy was talking to some corporate buckety bucks,
Uh-huh.
and he was the tech guy, and the corporate guys were describing to him this mall that they were going to make. It was going to be a an online mall
Hmm.
where and they were describing like the experience of walking into the front entrance of the mall, you know, with your online avatar.
Yeah.
And the programmer, like who was much more of a, like an online kind of guy, was like, why don't the people just teleport to the store they want to go to? Why are they walking to the front door?
That is a great explanation. Yeah. Because
Yeah,
they're
and
trying to make the internet world limited, like the real world
yeah,
is.
and the corporate guys are like, no, we don't want people to do that. We want people to
Yeah.
like we don't know teleporting. That's not in our that's not in our worldview. That's not what we understand. Like we want people to experience mall like physical malls like we understand them right now. And it was just this really unproductive conversation between these
Yeah.
two groups.
Well, I mean, isn't that like the actual fatal flaw of the metaverse? Like they're just trying to recreate the physical world in the digital world, but like the digital world is already a world that's creating itself
Yeah,
with like social media and websites and like you said, message boards and stuff. Those are the malls of the digital world, and they're so much more efficient than an actual mall. So why are you trying to make it into a mall?
I remember shopping at the mall. I'm old enough. Uh,
Well, we also have to go to the Apple Store, the only reason to ever go to a mall.
yeah,
So
um,
sometimes, like twice a
yeah, and
year.
like the like compare that versus the shopping experience of going onto Amazon,
Yeah. Oh,
like
yeah.
where like you have an inkling of the item you want, and you type it in, and then suddenly you're presented with like
Too many
a
options
list
to
of
choose from.
names
Yeah.
and pictures, and you can just like select. There's it's like the shopping experience is so much more practical
Yeah.
for anything except for like clothes.
Yeah. I mean, and so given that, and well, back to our frontier conversation, I've had this thought before too, is like, is not the new frontier the internet? Because it's this giant unexplored landscape of technology that, like, is, speaking of like Titanic and stuff, like, there is no class structure on the internet in the way that there is here. Like you're not burdened by who your parents were or how much money you have or anything. And so a lot of like people from like the middle of the country or who are kind of like would be very overlooked people in like teenagers and stuff that are just brilliant can actually have an equal say on the internet, whereas they never would have.
Well, so
Um,
here's the thing: is that you can have status on the internet
Yeah, but the thing is, that status is the furthest from like the way that it is on the Titanic. It's like almost completely always earned.
from between like message boards and subreddits and discords and video games. It seems like the consistently the most consistent form of status that exists on the internet
Oh, let me
is
guess. Whoever is on it the most.
whoever was there first.
Oh, okay.
Like a lot of like message boards will say like member since
You're right.
2011 or something.
You're right.
And
And people
and for
do kind of get a little bit like NIMBY about it.
yeah, and like people and a lot of times like if you buy a video game like at launch, like if it's one of those games where you're supposed to like play it for years and years,
Hmm.
if you buy it at launch, you'll get this like little decorative thing for your character saying like, "Hey, he's been here since the beginning." And if someone has that, they'll almost always use it.
Yeah, just to show that you were there for. Well, that's like,
I was there at the beginning.
and what is that like in the frontier world?
Well, in Titanic, it's like old money versus new money.
Yes, but like, okay, well, say you're a country and then you're the first one in an unexplored country. What do you do first? You plant your flag there as sort of a
Yeah,
symbol of I was here first.
and that
And
means I
so,
don't.
yeah, it belongs
That
to
gives
me in
me
some way.
that gives me a version of ownership.
Yeah. So it's no different.
Yeah. And this is okay.
Well, it's
I
not
think it's
no different, but
yeah.
it's got the
I
same
think
spirit.
it's time to buzzkill a little bit. Because this is a very interesting conversation, but we're pretty far afield of.
Well,
of Avatar the movie.
okay, so here's all I'm trying to say about because
Okay, okay, okay.
I think this idea with Avatar with the internet and the Avatar world,
I think that is something. I think that is
yeah, is
worth some discussion.
so you know, the idea is, and this is why I was like talking so much about like what was Earth like? Earth has been used up. It's fully discovered, fully explored. They've fully extracted every element that they possibly could from it to the point where it's not even useful to live on anymore. That is the physical world being
Okay, yeah,
used
I'm
up.
with you on that. Where the real world is bad and awful and shitty and used up.
Hmm.
So, like, all these people are choosing to live in a dream world for as long as they can.
And this is why I was like, why couldn't they bring Pandora back to Earth? You know, maybe that might be the plot is Pandora has the power to be unlimited, you know? Like the spirit world is unlimited. The world of creativity is unlimited. And the physical world will always get used up. It will always be that way because it has a lifespan. The true way to sustain human life indefinitely is not to go be a parasite and go from planet to planet to planet and extract all their resources. It's actually to inhabit a spirit world completely. Like one way to do that is to be like, I'm going to be my avatar on the internet. And to the point where I don't even need a body anymore because a body is just limiting me. It's like when Jake Sully was trying to get back. Remember when they were being attacked by the dozers and stuff? Jake was sleeping in Pandora next to his girlfriend. And what's
Yeah,
happening to his real body during that time?
Sigourney Weaver is like making him eat some eggs. Like,
Yeah,
no, you need to eat. Like, this is
yeah.
you can't just live in Avatar land the whole time.
And doesn't that feel like a guy playing like WoW, being like, oh, why do I what like he's so like he's clashing so hard in the game. If he just didn't need to eat or go to the bathroom, he could just be doing this. He could just be so much more powerful. That's why the end is so powerful because it's like, whoa, this is a guy that is now unconstrained by all the physical limitations of having a body. He's
Uh,
fully an avatar. He's become the avatar, and he's
yeah, he's now been naturalized to this new environment. Like, he has no more connections to Earth and humanity.
and it's like they say in the movie, like you have two births. Very religious. You have your first birth, and then you have your no another birth where you're like in the Navi or like where you're accepted by the planet or something. And he definitely had like a very legitimate rebirth in this.
Yeah,
He actually had like a third birth
yeah, because
because
there's like his normal human birth. Like, honestly, like the first time he jumps into the Avatar body is kind of like that too.
that's what I was thinking.
Oh,
Yeah, that was his.
I was also thinking of like him, like his coming of age ritual of becoming a hunter and a warrior for the first time.
Yeah, yeah,
He's like, I am Navi now, I can speak, like that kind of thing.
yeah.
And then at the very end, where he takes where the Avatar body becomes like just his body, full stop. So there's this very like I wouldn't call it like rebirth so much as like a progression.
That's how it feels. It feels like he's jumping like rungs of a ladder in a very quick succession. And it makes you feel like, wow, like where could he go next? Like he's made these giant jumps so far in this movie.
Yeah,
And that's another reason why I kind of didn't like The Way of Water, is it felt like such a
like a
deep
side story.
yeah, a detour. Yeah, it's like nothing
Yeah,
actually was accomplished.
it was basically like the only way like the actual plot of the quadrilogy gets progressed during that movie is reestablishing the Colonel as a recurring villain.
Yeah, and also reestablishing that you can like talk to the environment because that was the thing when they like went underwater. They
Oh
got
yeah, like
saved by speaking to.
yeah, like Sigourney Weaver like goes to some weird sacred grove, but underwater this time, and communes with the planet again.
Yeah, and that kind of makes me think of like the internet too. So you know how like, there's all these Facebook profiles of dead people. What if the Facebook profiles somehow could come to life in the same way that Sigourney Weaver is? Because James Cameron is such a forward-thinking person. And I know that he's thinking of like, well, what is the future of humanity? Especially with like his, this
Well,
project, which is
like
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 one of the last of his life. So
yeah, well, like uploading your consciousness to the cloud has kind of been like a sci-fi concept for a while.
yeah, yeah, true. But and this is why film is such a mythological medium, is he's making these really intangible concepts tangible. Like he's like a shaman. He has such a good way of, he has such a talent for expressing these really complicated philosophical concepts in
Yeah,
a very digestible, tangible way. Another like prime example of, the physical world being limiting is Jake himself. You know,
yeah,
yeah, you can get crippled and you basically become a second class citizen immediately because your
yeah.
abilities are so curbed.
Yeah, because the other Marines like at the very beginning of the movie when they see him are
Yeah.
I think one of them just says, "Oh, that's fucked up."
Yeah, I know. I like that. That made me laugh. I thought that was so funny. Man, now that's just cruel or whatever.
Yeah, like after yeah, because after all of like the fit naval Marines run by and the guy's like, "Oh, these guys are fresh meat. These guys are all gonna die. This is gonna." Pandora's gonna chew these guys up and spit them out. And then Jake rolls by and he's like, "Oh
Yeah,
no."
yeah. It's like, why are they doing that to him?
Yeah,
Any glaring things that we missed?
like one of them is just the whole note is just the word Dreamwalker, which is what one of the Navi calls Jake Sully
Yeah, which fits exactly into our kind of conception of the Pandora
as an unreality.
as an unreality. Yeah, and you know what that made me kind of think of actually was in like the story you brought up at the very beginning about the Greek myth. Could Pandora's box represent infinity?
Um,
Like opening up to infinity?
I think it's a lot more similar to the. I haven't thought about it a lot, but it seems more similar to the like eating the fruit of
Yeah,
the tree of the
definitely.
knowledge of good and evil of like you're not like now you have to deal with the world as it is. Like it's you're not in the garden anymore. Uh
When you say it like that, it sounds like The Wizard of Oz is talking
yeah.
about the same thing too.
Yeah, but I don't think that maps very accurately onto this movie. Like that statement.
Yeah. And it does map more accurately onto what I was saying about Pandora's box being like opening up to infinity. And it kind of actually reminds me of the abyss. Because is the abyss not also an infinity of a kind of, and it can make people go crazy, I mean, and you could also call God an infinity or a singularity if you want to take it there. Singularity and infinity basically mean the same thing, right?
I think I think my understanding of like the cosmological idea of a singularity is that it's just a lot of mass, like a very large amount, but definable amount of mass condensed into a single point. Like
To where it's like a feedback loop that goes out of control and can't be charted anymore, right?
something like that. I don't know very much about the topic.
Me neither. But here we are. Um,
Speculating on the Googleable.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what people tune into podcasts for, is it
Yeah.
not? The Google list leading the Google list.
Yeah.
So then after all of this conversation, not, there are a couple other things left that I have to talk about, but
Okay.
after all
I
this,
feel like we're in the wrapping up phase anyway.
yeah, after all this conversation, then, why is there hope in the Pandora's box? Why is that? Why is that in there? That that aspect to the story.
So I think like I don't know, you could argue that the Earth is a place without hope and that humanity is a species without hope, that the Earth is dying and blah blah blah, and it's only downhill. It's you know pollution and using up the resources of the planet, and it's really just this hopeless kind of cycle of consumption, while Pandora is a very sort of eternally sustainable system.
If used correctly. And I think that's a good, really good point. That's I failed to make that point earlier. Yeah, is
So there's no hope for
yeah.
humanity, but there is hope in the Navi.
Yeah. And but there's a very key aspect to it, which is if used correctly. Like you could just use short term, use the unobtainium and extract it and then discard it and then move on. But if you use it sustainably, it could last you, it could last forever.
In this movie, very little effort is made to explain why the unobtainium is useful,
Yeah.
which is probably why the explanation is so ham-handed in the next movie of why the brain juice is useful.
Yeah, but it's, the symbolism there is that it's this precious resource that shouldn't just be used, there should be a lot more thought, especially with all that humans have been through, that we should have gained enough wisdom to use this stuff in a sustainable way that could possibly last forever.
Yeah, it's like we've consumed too much, and that has caused so many problems. So we need to find new places to consume.
Yeah, exactly. And the lesson, that's not, and that's us not learning the lesson.
Yeah,
Maybe the hope there that is that we can rise above our material tendencies and use these things like kind of like, well, here's an interesting thing. When we get to Pandora, there had already been kind of a war with people and everything happening. You see how that affects the Pandora aliens. They have actually We have actually taught them to be more warlike, just like you know, just kind of like the Indians. But because the Indians started using guns and stuff at some point, and it was all,
well, they were already a warrior culture. Like raiding an
yeah,
opposing tribe was already like a kind of
yeah.
like a coming of age thing. Like you weren't a real man until you were like a member of a raid.
Well, and that is another thing too, is like we have risen above that to a large degree as people.
But we've also made war like a lot less of a lark.
Yeah, that was a huge thing too. War used to be like people couldn't wait for there to be a war because
Yeah,
they,
where
yeah,
where
because they
I'm
could,
I'm 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 the king, and these like 75 vassals that I have are gonna load up and we're gonna go to the neighboring king who's like
Yeah.
20 miles away. And we're gonna like duke it out, and maybe if we win, we can take some of his land.
Oh no, no, it's like if we win, we all made it. Like that's the
Yeah,
retirement plan, you know.
compared to total war, which is we're going to continuously grind like
Yeah.
our you know our human population and our entire economy against this opposing country, and one of these countries is going to be fully ruined and the other one's going to be half ruined, and that's the winner.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Whoever blinks first. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when Jake got saved by um his
by
girlfriend,
by girl. Okay.
by
Yeah.
girl, um by blue girl,
Yeah.
uh do you remember what happened to intervene? Because she was going to kill him.
Yeah, like she called it a seed of the world tree or something like that.
Yeah, or the spirit, the tree of souls or something.
Yeah.
So it was a seed from that. And it's interesting that it's a seed as well, too. So it's almost like planting the seed of spirit in somebody.
Hmm.
And it saved him because she saw it as a sign. And then
And she's destined to be the shaman of the tribe.
yeah, exactly. Well,
Yeah.
that bothered me a little bit actually, because they had already like made the Na'vi sort of there was like a class system to the Na'vi where it was like she could do anything she wanted because she was the princess basically. Whereas like if
Hmm.
another Na'vi did the stuff that she was doing, they would be like, get out of here with that.
Well, no, no, no. Well, like what she was doing was like germane to her role as a shaman.
Yeah, but she
She's
was
like
only
that
a shaman because her mom was a shaman.
yeah, but
That's what I
like
was.
she. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
But that's a separate issue. But
Yeah, because she shows up and she's like, I don't like this guy either, but there was a sign. We need to bring
yeah.
this up with mom.
But my thing is, um, I wonder if more of the Na'vi were like this is just speculating, but I wonder if more of the Na'vi were like that until the humans came and they sort of lost their intuition. And they sort of like saw signs as much less important because they were fighting a war with more practical in a more practical way.
Well,
Because
yeah, because
the other
the
Na'vi,
junior chief, like the
yeah,
junior chief, is just like wants nothing to do with the
exactly.
signs,
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know, and they can kind of make him up to be a villain because he has to die in order for Jake to be the next chief. So
Yeah, it's true. And he had a cool death too, where
yeah,
he had a whole 300 moment where he
yeah he took out a bunch of dudes. He was cool.
Yeah, it is, that goes to James Cameron's skill where as a director is like I'm rooting against the humans for that. I was like get another one, make sure to get another one before you die. Um
Yeah, like it's like only a few of the humans are really truly cartoonishly evil.
all the Marines basically.
I only like there's the bald one that I talked about earlier who
Yeah.
gets brought who shows up a few times. I think he's supposed to represent the Marines as a whole, where he's mean and dismissive of the Na'vi and eventually dies in a very ignoble way.
How does he die? I forget.
One of the hammerhead rhinos
Oh
knocks over
yeah.
his mech and stomps through the window.
Oh yeah, that's right. So what did you think of the final scene between Jake and the Colonel when they were fighting? It was sort of a battle of avatars, right? It started as a battle of avatars.
Like the individual like on foot humans are kind of supposed to be just chaff for the
Yeah.
Na'vi to kind of blast through. Kind of like
Oh
in
yeah.
like in any one of the Avengers movies, there has to be like an endless supply of nameless, faceless mooks to get
Oh
mowed down
yeah.
by the heroes.
Like when they were all marching alongside the what did you call them? Max?
Mechs,
Oh, Mex.
like mech suit.
Yeah, when they were marching alongside the Mex, I was like, "Oh, ha, they're gonna get chewed up easy."
Yeah,
Like,
and like each mech suit is kind of like the like a paired opponent to a single Navi.
pretty much, yeah. That's how it's sort of like in the video game logic of the world, how it
That's like a 1v1 enemy.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. But so what's interesting about like their fight is so it happens right next to where Jake is like tapped in.
sleeping.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sleeping. And then so it's like an internet argument. What I felt like was like they were like two people arguing on Call of Duty or something. And they were like really getting at each other and calling each other names and stuff as their avatars, as like these, Counter-Strike sort of people. And and then one of them decides, I'm gonna find out where this guy lives.
I'm gonna show up to his house with a tire iron.
Yeah, exactly. And then it gets real because that when that happens, that's like when the mech suit gets its window broken, and then so he's like exposed. He's been doxxed, and then so he goes, "All right, well, two can play at that game. I'm gonna go after your." So it's no longer a proxy war. It's like a full on war now.
Well, yeah,
Like he starts going after Jake's actual body, who's helpless.
yeah, this is kind of the first time. Well, not the first time, but like this is when the Colonel is like in actual danger. Every other time he's in
Hmm.
like the biggest gunship and just sitting in
Yeah.
the cockpit drinking coffee.
Oh yeah, or like taking pot shots from a distance easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the scene where Jake Sully and Michelle Rodriguez are taking off in the helicopter, and he holds his breath and goes in and starts shooting at them. Is
That was fucking cool. I
Yeah,
love
that's
that.
pretty
It,
badass.
it
Yeah,
was badass. Um, but yeah, so I thought that was extremely well done and really articulated a lot of this the Avatar sort of stuff. And it was always cool like when like somebody like got like was in a mech suit and got distracted and then like they turned to like swat a fly or something and then on the exterior the whole mech suit like
yeah.
turned because of like this small thing that happened inside that has nothing to do with the outside mech suit.
Mhm.
Thought a lot of he played really a lot with that really well. That was cool. And it all goes to like show like I think the whole point of all that is like the like leading up to that very end because it's saying like how inefficient machines are because there's always going to be this lag time or space, this sort of there's not really a one-to-one correlation with how you act and the machine acts. That's never going to be possible unless you actually become the machine or you actually become the Navi.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Because like Jake feels very vulnerable in a lot of or Jake's avatar feels very vulnerable in a lot of points where
yeah.
he's in human mode and his his avatar body is just pilotless and needs to be sort of coddled and rescued.
Yeah, you need somebody to like be there in the place where the body is to protect it, as well as like fighting in the avatar. Yeah. And it kind of made me think like the big question in sci-fi has always been like where does humanity go? And like that's why 2001 is my favorite movie because it asks this question so directly is like we're either going to become a machine or we're going to like evolve into like a spirit of some kind or some higher person.
Yeah,
So not to discount at all what science and technology and medicine has done for us. But watching this movie, it made me think, okay, maybe the machines and stuff that we use are just a stopgap, like training wheels. It's like training wheels is a good example because, when you first ride a bike, you just don't have the ability to ride it. So you invent this mechanical device that makes it rideable. But at a certain point, the whole point of having the training wheels is to learn how to gain the ability to ride it. And that isn't a mechanical thing at all. It's a I don't know what you would call it, but it's like it's an ability. It's like a gaining a skill. That's not an invention. That's part of like the human will to do that, you know?
Hmm.
And it takes human effort. And so the whole point of the training wheel, just like the point of a machine, is to help us along while we get the while we as humans gain the abilities to not need them anymore, you know?
I, I don't think like I
And
don't
I'm
think
not
this is
saying
relevant to
I
this movie.
no, no, that's what I'm saying is
Okay, okay, okay.
it's 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 incredibly relevant to the movie.
Like the Na'vi aren't a
And I'm not even
uh
saying I agree with that. I'm just
they're
saying,
it's like they're not like a progressive evolution of humanity. They're like a it's like like the humanity is on its tract, and then the Na'vi are on their tract,
yeah,
and Jake is just transferring himself from one path to another, like a much presumably better, more sustainable path.
yeah. Well, okay. Well, here's actually, what about this? What if the Na'vi actually aren't the end goal of humanity?
Well,
They're also,
they're not.
yeah,
That's the whole point of the movie, that humanity is on this path that is going in the wrong direction. The Na'vi are on this completely different path. It's not like humanity is like on its way to being Na'vi. It's just
exactly.
like, yeah, like they're a completely different like thing.
Well, here's an interesting thing too is with Jake as a character, for a lot of the movie, everybody is using him for something, you
Well,
know?
he does have to like pick a side.
Yeah, exactly. But for a while there, he was playing every side. Like he was the science people were using him to do their stuff, and then the military people were back channeling him to use him for their purposes. And then the Na'vi were using him to learn about the humans, while the humans were using him to learn about the Na'vi.
Hmm.
So he sort of existed in this like middle place for a really long time. Yeah. Until he like gained his agency and was like, okay, I'm not going to get used by anybody anymore. I'm going to pick a side, what I think is the right side.
Hmm.
And I think that character is sort of is like a representation of so we're going to take a little bit from the science people, we're going to take a little bit from the military people with the machinery, we're going to take a little bit from the Navi, and we're going to use all these things as one, combine all of these and learn all the right lessons from all of these, and then use that and put it into this Jesus Christ type figure
Yeah,
to propel humanity, having gained all of these lessons. The Navi teach
I
them the spiritual lesson.
I
The Yeah,
like I don't know, like he's very clearly just a Navi that used to be human by the end of the movie. Like he's not like this. Like
Yeah.
like the idea of calling him like this leap forward in humanity in a 2001 kind of way
Yeah.
is just not what the movie is about.
What would you say? What am I getting wrong? What is it? What is it about?
Like he's not the evolution of humanity. He's getting off the humanity train and getting on the Navi train. Like he's not becoming like oh humans are destined to become star childs and the protagonist is just the first one. This is like
Yeah.
humanity is going to go off and continue being humans and maybe evolve as some superhuman thing eventually. But Jake's not in that. He's not on that track anymore. He's a Navi now.
He,
He's
but
not.
he is he
He's
not?
like
He's not at all a human.
well, like he's like a Navi who used to be a human. He's
So he's
but
both.
it's like the Navi like are not like I think that 2001 is just not an apt comparison. Like this isn't the next stage of human evolution. This is Jake Sully going to an alien race and becoming one of them. Like
Yeah,
this
well,
isn't
okay,
the
so one of the things is I'm trying to like I'm a little bit anticipating where this series is going based on the themes that are just in this movie. Like I'm
I I I don't think it's gonna happen. I think it's gonna be Jake and like a series of like chosen hangers on, like maybe like five or so humans or something
mhm.
that are allowed to remain on Pandora and do probably science bullshit. Uh,
And just live with the Na'vi and maybe teach the
as
Na'vi.
outsiders.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then and you think that that's it. They're just gonna die and go away and that's it.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be like the future of humanity is becoming Navi. Like that seems very not I'm not at all seeing that in the movie.
Well, I'm calling it right now, Nick. That's my prediction.
Okay.
So we'll see. We'll see I don't know, 10, 20 years from now or so. I don't know, whatever the timeline
Yeah.
is.
And
Uh,
like and like the Navi Marines like in the Way of Water are just going to be like a new form of boss monster for Jake Slade to fight against.
well, I will say though that you're missing one thing, which is so, what I kind of like about Jake is he had that brother that died
Tommy.
senselessly. Huh?
Yeah. Tommy.
Yeah. I forgot what the name was. But when he took his role, he became him in a certain way, you know? Like he sort of like adapted a lot of his he had to take on his role as the in the science realm, you know?
I mean, like what science does he do?
Well, he kind of is a science experiment,
I
and
mean,
and they kind of
he's a science.
teach him like oh, you need to do these logs and stuff because that's what scientists do. So he's sort of like, in a way, like he's obviously replacing his brother, right?
Yeah, but like
So
the reason why he is useful in a way that his brother wasn't going to be, and the way the other scientists weren't really useful, is because he's doesn't have a plan. He doesn't have a future in his own eyes.
yeah,
Like the scientists like have probably views on what their future looks like, very specific views on like what they're going to learn about the planet and what they're going to do as scientists. And
hmm
Jake just shows up almost against his will with no plans for the future whatsoever and is,
yeah.
like he says,
He's
a
wildly
jar,
open.
yeah, a jar waiting to be filled.
Yeah, yeah. I like that. I like that was a really good quote. It's like you can't fill a jar that's already full, and he's like, I'm empty.
Yeah, I'm a jarhead.
But just follow me a little bit with this train of thought. So he kind of like takes on his he's imbued a little bit with his brother's spirit. He's imbued a little bit with the military spirit. He's imbued a little bit with the Navi spirit. Um and in a same similar sort of way, the planet sort of gets imbued with like Sigourney Weaver, you know. And then so he's he's kind of he's kind of taking on all these things and collecting it. And the more things that he collects, the more powerful he becomes. And sort of like the more powerful and the more people that get into the planet, the more knowledgeable it is and the more knowledgeable it becomes, you know? So like if a bunch of humans die there and they learn the spiritual ways, doesn't the planet become like infused with all of their knowledge and spirit and memory and stuff?
That only really happens with Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah, because she was the only one that really up to that point
So
that
it like you're talking about a hypothetical situation where a bunch of humans show up, they learn to live, you know, in harmony with the planet, and then they
yeah.
die, and then they go through the funeral.
And then they become
Uh,
one with the planet
I mean, like, yeah,
forever.
like this is a possible thing that might happen, but I don't see this being foreshadowed in any way.
And
It
then
certainly hasn't
so
happened. Like
well, if
like
you take yeah.
it's just like I think what you're doing right now is you're just like, oh, if I was writing the story, I could write it like this. I could write the sequels like this. And
Um
I don't think that's like foreshadowed.
well I well
It's
I'm
not
trying to figure
relevant to the
out
story as it currently
I'm
exists.
trying to figure out what the ultimate, because that's what I'm always after, you know, is like, okay, what is the ultimate point here? What is the ultimate like end goal
I think
to
the end
like the
point is kicking the
entire.
humans off in a permanent way.
So you don't think that it's you don't think so you don't think that it's a synthesis. The point of it is a synthesis. You think the point of it is because like every single
Well,
aspect of the movie is them like becoming imbued with stuff and becoming a part of like a greater thing, you
well,
know.
like we know we don't have to speculate on what the sequel is going to be like. Like we know the sequel is more of Jake Sully kicking humans off the planet.
So you think that's the end goal is just
I
get rid of
I
humans and humans die as a
yeah,
result.
I think that like
Ah,
humans as anything more than a token population are is just not going to be a thing.
yeah, because
Like
this
maybe
the feeling I get from this is like that humanity is putting so much effort into this because it's kind of a desperate last stand for our civilization to get this unobtainium.
the thing is like we don't even know what the unobtainium does. The brain juice is just purely like has nothing to do with human society. It's just purely about like the for the benefit of specific very wealthy humans.
Well, let's talk about that in the next movie, but
Yeah.
because
Like it's
I really forgot a lot of that. So
yeah,
I need to rewatch it. But
yeah. Like I didn't want to spend too much time talking about like the way of water, but like what you're doing right now is speculating about the future of the
yeah,
series, and it
true.
seems very silly to like speculate on what the series is going to do next when the sequel is already out.
Yeah, so well, that's interesting. Okay, so we have two different ideas of where ultimately it's going to end up. But
I think we're ready to.
yeah, I think so. You know, despite our disagreement at the end, Nick, I just want to say I see you.
And I see you too. I
No, 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 Nick.
no no
I
you can't
see you.
you can't see it, but I did the hand thing when I said that.
Oh yeah. Ironically, this is the one podcast where I haven't seen you the entire time.
Yeah,
But that helps me to see you,
the real you
the
inside
real
you.
you, even better. So thank you for letting me see you, Nick.
Hmm.
And that was the Mythic Movie Maker podcast.